What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy, Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And happy Wednesday to all of y'all, man. Hope y'all are doing good. Hope y'all are having a great day. Do want to give a huge shout-out and thank you to Underdog for being the sponsors of today's videos. And guys, please make sure to use this QR code right here and download the Underdog Fantasy app so you can play alongside me and win some great prizes and some great money, man. It'll be a great time for you, but just want to give a huge shout out to Underdog again for being the sponsors of today's videos. And like I said, just use the QR code right up here to download the app. You ain't even got to search it up in your iPhone App Store or your Google Play Store. But we're going to get into today's docket and a few things that have occurred. And first things first, our young bull, our number one receiver, T-Mac, is already getting the praise as T-Mac has officially been awarded the Pro Football Writers Award, Pro Football Writers Association Offensive Rookie of the Year Award, man. Congratulations to Tedero McMillan for winning the PFWA Rookie and Offensive Rookie of the Year. So not only just he's total Rookie of the Year, and he's also their Offensive Rookie of the Year. Shout outs to him. He obviously deserves it. I definitely think he put up the numbers and showcased the impact to get this award. And hopefully it's the first of many. Hopefully he wins the NFL's official Rookie of the Year award. I'd love to see him take that home because of how much he's put in this season. And if the NFL doesn't get it right, at least I know the Pro Football Writers saw what we saw. And it's a great way for him to start his career. Hopefully this leads to just many more recognitions, a lot more Pro Bowl appearances, and All-Pro selections, because I love the fact that Tedero McMillan has already come out and put his foot on the game, and I want him to have a long imprint on the game. I want him to go down as one of the greatest Carolina Panther receivers ever to play this game. When it's all said and done, I'd love for him to spend his entire or majority of his career here in Carolina. And when it's said and done, I want him along the likes of Steve Smith, Musa Muhammad, and just being Ricky Prohl and people of that nature, just being in that conversation of like, yeah, when it was time, when T-Mac was here, he was one of them ones. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, huge praise to T-Mac. Shout out to you, my boy. Glad that you were able to get the Rookie of the Year award that you deserve. And the next thing I do want to talk about is getting what you deserve is apparently Coach Avero has now completed his second interview for the Raiders. He completed it either Monday or yesterday. I was looking up sources just to confirm what he did and when it was completed. I do know he was going in person, so it was either completed yesterday or Monday. And honestly, I ain't even gonna sugarcoat it to y'all. Yeah, I want the man gone. And if getting a promotion is the way for him to go, hey, congrats to him. Congrats to him. I think Avero is a decent enough coach to be a head coach somewhere. But right now, as our defensive coordinator, I think he's twofold. I think he can have moments where he's good, but he also has a lot of moments that to me personally do not make sense. And I could be biased because I just don't like the way he runs the 3-4 scheme, especially when we play our secondary as soft as we have in the past. And that may work with different personnel. That's the other thing. The personnel we have may not be the personnel he needs to run his scheme at his most proficient level. That could be very possible. But I do know he completed a second interview with the Raiders. And usually second interviews tend to lead to hiring, but I think the Raiders also had multiple second interviews they conducted over the course of Monday and Tuesday. So, jury's still out on that. And I have seen some of you throw out the idea with Sean McDermott now being no longer the head coach of the Bills. Y'all thrown out the idea of Sean McDermott coming back and being our DC.
NANI?
I'm going to tell you now, my gut of guts tells me that's not happening. My soul of souls, my heart of hearts, my brain of brains tells me that Sean McDermott is not going back to being a coordinator. He is going to go somewhere where he's the head coach. Because not only do I think talent-wise and his track record prove he's good enough to stay as a head coach, also it's a pride thing. And McDermott is going to want to go somewhere to prove, yo, I was right. It's the roster with Buffalo, not my coaching. Because apparently that was one of the things that led to him being fired is he told the GM and the owner how the roster was built. He criticized it, saying we don't have a true number one, we're lacking depth, so on and so forth, to win a Super Bowl here. And they did not take too kindly to that. And he ended up being on the chopping block. The crazy part is, I'm pretty sure all of us would agree with that. We would agree with his assessment. So it's going to be interesting. But Sean McDermott coming back, I don't see. Evero, I would not like to see. And I think Dan Morgan and company are planning on him getting hired as a head coach, especially with the second interview having to be in person out in Vegas. So I think Morgan and company are already looking ahead to be like, all right, who are we going to bring in as DC if this doesn't go well? Or who do we promote from within the organization if Evero decides to leave? Also, on the offensive coordinator front, I know some of y'all wanted Mike McDaniels, and that would have been amazing. Well, McDaniels is in LA with the Chargers now. Not surprising, going from Miami to LA. That actually makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury, if he's said that he would come to Carolina, but Kingsbury and Canales pairing up and Kingsbury taking over the offense would be cool too. However, I don't know the full ins and outs of if that's what Carolina is looking for, nor does it seem like they're making a concentrated effort to go look for a new OC. Also, they don't look like they're making a concentrated effort to find a new DC right now until Evero has decided on if he's coming or staying. And I think that can put Carolina behind the 8 ball if they're not already proactive and being like, all right, well, if you're gone, we got to get your replacement ready to rock and roll. We can't waste no time, especially with the draft coming up. We got to get your replacement ready to rock and roll, familiar, and see what he wants. So that's just me. Those are some of the things I do know and don't know. But I can tell you what I do know for certain, man, and that's the fact of the matter that the playoffs, hey, yo, they still going on, and Underdog Fantasy is the best place to get all your gridiron action, my boys and my girls. Listen, playing Underdog is easy. All you got to do, pick your favorite player and see if they'll go higher or lower on any stats. Touchdowns, rush yards, receptions, and more. You can even do this for basketball, baseball, and other sports like that. You get them right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And so this week, Underdog, I know the CFP just ended. We ain't got games till Sunday. But right now, let's say I'm looking at the NBA. And they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 31.5 points against the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. And then they have Giannis on the other side with 28.5 points versus OKC. Truth be told, I would go with the higher on Giannis just because they're going to need that from OKC. Shai, they might not need 31.5. I would go lower. That's just me. I think OKC can still win without Shai going 31.5, but Milwaukee can't win without Giannis going 28.5. So I'd go the higher with Giannis and the lower with Shai. That's just me. But with all that being said, yo, what are y'all waiting for? Go ahead and download the app today and use the promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That is promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. And you, again, all you have to do, use this little QR code. It's right here. Take out your phone. Scan it. Like, listen, bro. Just do that. That's it. That's all you got to do. But Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-878 or text HOMI 467-369.
All right, and now we are back to the third part of our show, getting back to the nitty gritty and the deep second. And today, we are going to look at the top prospects the top safety prospects heading into the NFL draft. So Monday we looked at linebackers. Tuesday we looked at offensive tackles. Today we're going to look at the top safeties. And I did get this list comes from English hard. This list comes from Pro Football Focus, and this is based off their grades that they gave, the PFF grades that they gave to these players. Hence why you'll see the rankings the way they are set up. So, based off the grades, total grades, what they came up with at the end, and the way they fell in the rankings, here are the top safeties going into the 2026 NFL Draft. You have Caleb Downs at Ohio State, A.J. Halsey from LSU, Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren from Toledo, Kamari Ramsey from University of Southern Cal, Zachy Wheatley from Penn State, Genesis Smith from Arizona at 7, Michael Taffy from Texas at 8, Jalen Stroman from Notre Dame at 9, and Bishop Fitzgerald from Southern Cal at 10. And again, these rankings are from Football Focus based off the PFF grades in total. So Caleb Downs had the highest, and the number 10 safety was Bishop Fitzgerald. And looking at the way the safeties were lined up, and looking, honestly, low-key at their builds and some of their stats, the one that I really thought stood out to me, and I think could be a gem, was Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. And the reason being is, one, at least in this top 10 alone, he is actually the biggest safety in this group because Emmanuel McNeil-Warren stands at, let's see, he is standing at 6'2", 202 pounds. He's one of the biggest safeties in this group right now. A lot of them were 6 feet, 6'1". It was him and only, I think, 2 others in this top 10, or maybe one other person in this top 10 that was 6'2", 200 plus. And at the safety position, I like a little bit of a taller safety, and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren had some lovely stats to back it up because each year he's gotten better. Now, he doesn't have the most tackles in the season. I think that went to A.J. Halsey, or it was either Halsey or Caleb Downs. I have to look at it right now. But, like, McNeil-Warren each year. So, 2023, 68 tackles, 32 solo, 4 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. 2024, 61 tackles, 35 solo, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. And then 2025, 77 tackles, 36 solo, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions. And I like him because I don't know I know Caleb Downs ain't going to be there. Caleb Downs didn't taken high. But Halsey, he may be gone too. And Halsey's put up a lot of numbers as well, especially over the last 2 seasons alone. Last 3, Halsey, you're looking at 97 tackles, 72 solo, 1 forced fumble, 0 interceptions. 2024, 74 tackles, 43 solo. And then he had 0 forced fumbles, 5 interceptions. And then 2025, 89 tackles, 49 solo, 1 forced fumble, 3 interceptions. I don't know if Halsey's going to be there. I know Downs isn't going to be there. Thieneman, I'm not too high on. He's great in coverage, but he doesn't have, like, the stats to back himself up because when you look at Thieneman, he is. Oh, wait, I take that back. I apologize. No, I take that back. I greatly apologize, Thieneman. Thieneman does have the numbers to back it up. He just has slightly regressed each year. Because 2023 had 106 total tackles, 74 solo, and 2 forced fumbles with 6 interceptions. 2024, 104 tackles, 70 solo, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. And then 2025, 92 total tackles, 44 solo, 0 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. That was my deal with Thieneman. I apologize. It wasn't that he didn't have the numbers. It was that he was slightly regressing as he got older. So I don't know about Thieneman. And then the next best one, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. My only issue with McNeil-Warren is that he played at Toledo. So there is always going to be the question of competition and what have you and the level of competition that he's played. But if you take that same approach with a guy like Jalen Coker who came from Holy Cross, you can kind of overlook the school and be like, yo, talent is talent, ball is ball, and guys know how to hoop wherever they at. So I like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. If Halsey is available, definitely take Halsey. I'm just saying, if he's somehow available at 19, you definitely take him over McNeil-Warren based off production and what I've seen. But McNeil-Warren, I think, is going to be a sleeper of a gem, regardless of where he goes, and somebody that Carolina should look at. But I could be wrong. Y'all have told me before, and I got to go look more at his film, and I will do that this weekend because I'll probably go in depth more next week once I've had a chance to fully flush out, and we'll do a lot of that next week. Even over the next upcoming weeks, we'll probably do that a lot more where we look more in depth of the guys who will probably be available around our pick, and I'll have more numbers to back them up and have actually looked at their film to see what they're capable of. And then, obviously, got to talk about the Panther freeze frame of the day, and it goes to this fan from the playoff games, this young fan getting to celebrate his first ever Carolina Panthers playoff game. From the looks of it, it looks like young man had a blast, and I'm happy for him. So shout-outs to him, man. But now, it's time for y'all favorite segment, time for Panther Nation to speak your truth. And that's why I read y'all comments and see what you lovely fools had to say. And the first comment comes from Avera Robinson, says, I hear Romeo is not a locker room good guy. I would like to know where you got that from, because if that's the case, yeah, I'm not bringing no cancers in. We are just getting to a good spot. We are not in the business of bringing in any cancerous people to the team. So wherever you heard that, let me know, because if that's true, I'm not with that. We're not bringing that. Not here. No. Next, at the 20-minute mark, comes from Zachary Setzer, JD, MTWM-CTFA. Sheesh, man. Zach says, remember that a 60 is average in PFF scoring. Cade Mays only scored slightly lower than our 5th best scored defensive player, Sean Robinson. Thank you. I appreciate that reaffirmation. I greatly do. I forgot that a 60 is average on the PFF. So I do thank you and appreciate you, Zach, for calming me down a little bit on that. Like, I love Cade Mays. So him being one of the lowest, that genuinely caught me off guard. I was like, huh? But if you reminded me that, a 60 is average, that's actually a good thing. All right, cool. All right, cool. And then thirdly, comes from Panther Pride. Panther Pride-B5V says, I say we go LT in the first and linebacker in the second. CJ Green and Josiah Trotter would fit. As far as Timo, we can get a good swing tackle better than Yash in free agency, or spend one of our 5th rounders on one. Logically sound. Now I got to look up CJ Green and Josiah Trotter and see how they feeling and see what they looking like. So I'll definitely have to add them to the list and see what they got going on, man. But That's all I have for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you can always be notified of when these videos are dropping. Next, comment below and let me know. Are y'all happy that T-Mac won the Pro Football Writers Association Rookie of the Year award? And do you think that just bodes well for him to win the NFL Rookie of the Year? 2, do you want Avero to go to Vegas or do you want him to stay? And 3, what safeties do you think I should look up and take a deeper dive into, and who do you think is going to be available at that 19th pick in the NFL draft? And shoot, honestly, I probably have to go deeper. Now that I think about it, we're probably not going safety in the first round. So actually, I'm going to have to look deeper into the list. Now that I think about it, I'm going to have to look deeper into the list and see different names, because we're more than likely going to go linebacker first, and then offensive tackle, or offensive tackle and linebacker, then safety. So I have to look at third-round prospects, actually, now that I think about it. So I apologize for anybody who was like, we're not even going to take a safety first round. Myron, like, what are you talking about? I just realized that. It honestly just came to my brain. We're probably not taking a safety till 2 or 3. So any of those guys I listed might not even be available. But they might. They might. I don't know. We have to see how the cards play out. But I'll definitely look deeper into the list and pull up more names. That way I have a more realistic chart and list to pull from of players that we could be taking with that position in the draft. So apologies for that. We'll get that straightened out within the upcoming episodes, man. And let me know that and everything else in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, y'all know the deal. What do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all you Panthers Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see y'all next time.